The future of same-sex marriage, abortion access, the economy and inflation, and immigration are but a few hot-button issues politicians running in the fall general election will have to face. How will Catholic voters impact the results? Specifically, how will the fastest-growing Catholic demographic in America, the Hispanic Catholic voter, influence this election? EWTN News recently teamed up with RealClear opinion research to poll Catholic voters. To discuss that all-important Latino Catholic vote, we're joined by journalist Long-García, who has written extensively about this topic. JD, it's great to have you here with us. The EWTN and RealClear poll showed that Latino Catholics are not a political monolith, with 54% identifying as Democrat, 21% as Republicans, and 24% as independent. How different are they from non-Latino voters?
That's a great question. It's interesting in terms of the Latino vote today, not only immediately after the Dobbs decision, but also coming out of the pandemic. Latino voters are people that are very connected to their community and very connected to their family. So what informs Latino voters has a lot to do with that face-to-face contact that a lot of people have day to day.
I think that we'll get to the abortion issue in a second because I know you wrote about that, but let's talk about immigration. Our poll showed Catholic Latino voters heavily supported a legal path to coming to the U.S., but they also showed significant support for border security. This is an issue that divides the American church. Are these results surprising to you?
I don't find them surprising. As you mentioned at the beginning, Latino voters are not a monolith. And most Latinos in the United States were born here. So they're going to have different sensibilities, perhaps, than those that are coming here, that come to this country from another one, like myself. And so I think that's very understandable to be hearing that. And also with the reports that we've been seeing from the border and the kind of the lack of security that's been reported, it's not surprising to see that a lot of Latino voters are paying attention to that.
Right, security is an important issue for them. You focused then on Latino Catholics and abortion last week in an article you wrote using information from yet another poll. What did you find out about their thoughts on the defense of life?
It's interesting about that poll in particular because from what I understand, the EWTN poll was taken before Dobbs. This poll was taken in the days immediately following the Dobbs decision, where we kind of have this media frenzy going on about abortion. And what that poll found was that 75% of Hispanic Latinos are in favor of access to abortion. I found that very surprising myself. So then when you dig a little bit deeper into the numbers, you find that out of the 2,000 people that were surveyed, only about 104, I think it was, of the people who responded identified as Hispanic Latinos. That's a very small number. And so there's question about whether or not there has been a shift. The people that I interviewed for the story do think that there has been some kind of a shift, but not that severe, that it hasn't been from, in 2010, it was around 50% of Latinos supported access to abortion. And now up to 75, it seems like a huge jump. In fact, the same research institute, the Public Religion Research Institute, in 2019 found that most Hispanic Catholics were against abortion. So it does seem to be this number seems to be fluctuating a bit. But in terms of what's the reaction to Dobbs, that's informing a lot of these numbers. The way that the media has covered it, I think, has a lot to do with it. The other thing that I discovered in speaking to people is that in certain Latino communities, again, not a monolith, there's different communities in different parts of the country, but in California, for example, the Republicans have kind of a bad reputation in the Latino community. There is also kind of this, if you put like a Trump sticker on something, people won't like it. A certain group of people won't pay attention to it. And so with the Dobbs decision and the credit that's been given or blame in some cases that's been placed on President Trump, that's dissuaded some people from the issue. So there is that kind of
political
guilt
tinge.
by reputation.
Yeah,
that's right. It kind of shifts it a little bit. So it's early. I've been a pro-life person for decades, and I never expected Roe to be overturned, and I'm still kind of in shock that it actually happened. So I think that like we're still in the process of discerning that, and I think people's minds are still changing right now about that. And that's what I've been hearing a lot from the people that I've been speaking to.
Right. The impact of that is going to slowly roll out, and people will change their minds and change their minds again, hopefully looking toward defending life. In the EWTN RealClear Politics poll, Latinos and non-Latinos poll similarly on familiarity and acceptance of church teaching, but Latinos are less likely to believe in the real presence in the Eucharist. Any idea why?
I found that very surprising. The Latinos, one of the things that we talk about different images of Jesus, perhaps in our faith lives, and the crucified Jesus, the Good Friday, the Lord on the cross. That's very much a part of many Latino traditions and cultures, and that's something that's very, very important to us. So then to hear that at the same time that like belief in the real presence has gone down. That's very difficult to believe. So I not to question the poll entirely, but I think that it does point to, just like the polls about abortion and other issues that are important for us as Catholics, they point to a need to do more evangelization and more catechesis.
That's right.
And I think that the bishops recognize that, and that's part of this Eucharistic revival that we're in the middle of today.
Yes, we covered the National Eucharistic Revival extensively 2 weeks ago, and I know that we'll continue to do that as that 3-year process unfolds, and hopefully they'll take Latinos as part of that, knowing whether this poll is true or not, that they need that catechesis as well. Last question, our polling suggests that Latinos are less tied to church teaching on same-sex marriage, and that their white and black counterparts do have stronger beliefs on traditional marriage. Why this change? Latinos are often associated with countries that have not yet legalized same-sex marriage. I know that seems to trickle down through the continent.
Yeah, it's not an easy answer, but I think a lot of it has to do with our relationship with our families. I think that because we're so familial in the way that we express our faith and the way that we live our lives. We like to hang out with our parents and stuff.
Right.
Unlike some of our Anglo counterparts, we like tías y tíos y abuelos and everybody, right?
That's right.
And I think, and so I think that when you look at it and you think, and you know somebody that's in your family that is from that community, then you're going to see things a little bit differently, and you're going to want to be welcoming to that person in your family.
A very pastoral focused, community focused response.
That's right. Yeah, I think that's true.
Well, thank you so much, JD. I'm so grateful for your analysis and for your reporting.
My pleasure. Thank you for having me.